عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد: فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يعذب من يشاء ويرحم من يشاء وإليه تقلبون. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. There's many different names given to the month of Ramadan. What do I mean by this is that sometimes we say it's the month of hope. It's the month of hope from the mercy of Allah. We say it's the month of forgiveness because we want forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We say the month of the Qur'an because we want to have a connection with the Qur'an. We say it's the month of fasting, meaning controlling our desires, because due to fasting we want to control our desires. This is a month of restrictions. Why? Because we're restricted from something which is halal for us, and we can't do something which is halal, which is eating and drinking during the day. So there's different types of names given to the month of Ramadan, and the titles given to the month of Ramadan. So amongst these names it's the Shahrun Mubarak. Shahrun Mubarak. Shahrun Mubarak means it's blessed month. So what's blessings got to do with it? And how do you find out there's blessings involved? So what is blessings mean? If I have blessings in my life, what does that mean for me? I can't see blessings, I can't touch blessings. So what does that mean for me? This is why we find that, especially nowadays, we are finding the absence of barakah inside of our lives. Finding the absence of barakah inside of our lives. We don't have the blessings, we don't have the barakah inside of our lives. So there's so many different things that's happening in our lives. Sometimes we either financially, or it's to do with time, or it's to do with our health. But there's no barakah in anything that we're doing nowadays. So what's missing? We say this is Shahrun Mubarak, this is the month of blessings. So what's the difference between this month and the other months? Why are we not getting blessings in the other months and only in this month? See, the absence of barakah, all of the things that's happening in our in society nowadays, the social decay in our society, it's because there's an absence of barakah inside of our lives. In our time, the time is flying by. The money we're spending, it's spending and it's going, you don't know where it's going. Our health, the time is going and we're getting older and older, we're thinking, oh my gosh, we're this many years old. So time is going and it's flying. But the absence of barakah is something which is, because it's absent and because it's not there, it's having a huge effect on our lives. And even if you look at in the past, where you find that there wasn't all of these social decay, you find that the society was much better, society was much more, not more promiscuous, it wasn't as much as fahsha was going on, there was less of that, now there's more of it. So then what happens? The barakah was still there. They used to do certain things during the day, it used to last them for long. Sometimes the time in the day wouldn't finish. Sometimes it'd be such a long day. It's long and it's long. Why? Because you can be they're so productive. They can get so many things done. So with little effort, you find maximum reward. Little effort, maximum reward. And this is what we're looking for. Who wants to work for less and get more money? Everyone would. The people now working extra and they're getting less money. So what's happening nowadays? It's vice versa. It's switching. Why? Because the absence of barakah is not inside of our lives. We find that one of the definitions of barakah is al-manafi'u al-kathira bi-asbab al-qalila. That so much benefit will happen because of barakah, you only use a few things. Only a few resources was used. Only a few resources was used, only a few of my own resources, energy was used, but I got so much back. I got so much back. So in the month of Ramadan, we find something very similar. Outside of Ramadan, I cannot finish one tilawat of the Qur'an, yani the khatam of the Qur'an. But in my Ramadan, I finish. In 1 month, I can do what I can't do in 11 months. Sometimes I can achieve certain things in Ramadan which I can't achieve outside of Ramadan. So you find different things which is happening in Ramadan and outside of Ramadan. It's because there's blessings inside of Ramadan. And when the blessings go outside of Ramadan, then we need to do certain actions that attain the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what we need to do. This is how it's supposed to be. Because there's a huge absence of barakah in our lives, so many things are not getting done. Sometimes we find that there's so many things which is not meaningful anymore. It's meaningless. Our life is meaningless. People now say there's no point. There's no point doing this, there's no point. Why? Because I'm not seeing any kind of benefit inside what I'm doing. Because the absence of barakah is there. So the ayat of I mentioned at the beginning, يُعَذِّبُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَرْحَمُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَإِلَيْهِ تُقْلَبُونَ. It talks about regarding punishment will be given to some people which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He commands to. And then also He shows raham to certain people as well. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does. So in the tafasir and in the mufassir mentioned regarding this, that in يُعَذِّبُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ is because of the greed of the people, Allah will punish them. Because of the greed of the people, Allah will punish them. And then it's because of the contentment of the people, Allah will show raham and mercy. And what is this raham and mercy? It's to do with the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you're content with what Allah has given you, you're happy with what Allah has given you, what happens? Barakah comes inside of a person's life. Don't be impressed. فَلَا تُعْجِبَكَ أَمَّالُهُمْ وَلَا أَوْلَاتُهُمْ إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُمْ بِهَا فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Don't be impressed with the people that have got so much money and so much assets and cars and houses and so forth. If a person being impressed, فَلَا تُعْجِبَكَ أَمَّالُهُمْ وَلَا أَوْلَاتُهُمْ إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُمْ. Allah says that these people, they want the dunya, but they'll get nothing in the akhirah. What we are aiming for, we don't want much in the dunya, we want a lot in the akhirah. We can't see the akhirah, we can't touch the akhirah, we can't smell the akhirah. But what we can do is, we have hope. We have hope that whatever we are doing, this is what ihtisab means. So man sama Ramadan, ihtisab, iman wa ihtisab. Ihtisab, I hope for the reward. Why am I standing in my salah? Why am I wake up in the morning for the salah? Why am I standing in the night time for the salah? Why am I fasting? Because I hope there's going to be a reward for me afterwards. So that's ihtisab. When a person has ihtisab, then this is what he wants from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah mentions regarding this. He mentions the people of the past. We find Imam Bukhari mentioned in his kitab as well, that regarding the story of Barakah as well. There's a story of Barakah and how much, in the hadith he mentions the story of Barakah. But this is something that we need to try and take from there, because we're missing. There's so many things I'll mention at the end. What kind of action should we be doing to attain the Barakah, to attain the blessings? Because we're in the month of Barakah, and we're safe in this month because Allah is giving us a lot. And the amount of blessings which is being poured down on us, is alhamdulillah, we're attaining this. But how do we do this after Ramadan as well? How do we continue gaining extra barakah inside of the month of Ramadan? So he mentions in this authentic hadith where he mentions that he heard one person was walking, he was walking along, he heard a voice from the clouds. He heard a voice from up there and he heard from the clouds. So he mentioned regarding isti hadiqat fulan, and he rained down water on particular garden. So the man was shocked, like the voice came down, he said, rain down some water on this particular garden. Now of all of the places, his one rained down. This is what he heard. So he mentions that the man was shocked, he was intrigued. So he followed kind of the cloud and going towards where the rain was. So this specific location was there. Specific location where the water was directed towards. And everyone else is dry. Everyone else is dry, it's only this place where the water is falling. So he asked the man, how did you get this? The person of the field, the person's farm or field, whatever it is, he was giving up to the person. He says, how did you get all of this? Why have you got all the water and all the rain and no one else has? Why are you so special? Why is your place so special? So I have made this verse. This person says, this person, owner of the field and owner of the farm, he says, I have made this vow with Allah that every time I harvest my crops, I give a portion to the poor. Allah has taken responsibility that I'm never ever without rain. It's because of the actions that he's doing, he's gaining barakah. Because of the actions he's doing, he's gaining barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sometimes we don't see that sometimes the actions that we are doing, whether it's the Qur'an, whether it's our learning the Qur'an, tilawat of the Qur'an, studying the Qur'an, it brings about a lot of barakah inside of our lives. And it's subtle, it's very subtle how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works. But today we're lacking that barakah. We don't have that barakah inside of our lives. The blessings has completely left our lives. In this time, in our dealings, in our communications, it's nothing, there's no barakah. We find that some things are flying by, the time is flying by. We don't realize that one Ramadan is gone, another Ramadan has come, another Ramadan will go. This is how it will happen. There's no barakah in the times. Even when looking at the food, so this is the iftar time, the suhoor time, when you're eating together. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentions, طَعَامُ الْإِثْنَيْن يَكْفِي الثَّلَاث. ثلاثة. The food of 2 people is sufficient for 3. It's sufficient for 3. The food of 2 people, you can share it out and you will be still satisfied. 3 people will still be satisfied. So one time, the Sahaba were complaining to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam regarding this response that, we're having this and is complaining regarding the food, there's no food and so forth. Or if we're sharing the food, then there's not enough food for us. So they're complaining to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam regarding the food. So he said, okay, then who's cooking? Rasulullah said, the response was, who's cooking? Who's the chef? Which bowl is it in? Are you eating together? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَفَرَّقُونَ Sorry, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَفْتَرِقُونَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَفْتَرِقُونَ you're making farq. Are you eating separately? Or are you eating together? Perhaps, maybe you're eating separately, the barakah has been lifted from your meal. So this is something to really wonder as well. In our own houses, does everyone have their own plates? Yeah, everyone goes out, you have your own plate, you have your own plate, you have your own plate. Sometimes we don't even eat together. Sometimes the father come late, and then the children eat early, and they don't come together and don't eat together. In the past, it used to only be one plate. It used to be only one plate, and everyone needs to eat from the plate. It used to be a larger plate, and then everyone needs to eat from that plate. That brings about barakah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Let's bring about barakah in this." Now we're all individual. It's individualism. Everyone's to themselves. They're a bit more selfish. This is where the greed comes in. This is where the punishment of Allah comes about. So selfish is not good. Individualistic is not good. Being together and in a community, as a family, eating together brings about barakah inside of your family. So just by having and sharing something brings about barakah. So this is one of the sources of barakah. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says to the people, why are you not eating together? You're eating individually perhaps. So this is something to really reflect upon as well. So in the end you find many different stories and regarding the Sahaba that they never used to eat alone. They used to always make someone eat with them. Why? Because they knew there was barakah inside of this. Even if you look at the Qur'an, let's go towards the Qur'an. If you look at the Qur'an in itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Ar-Rahman, the last ayat mentions Tabarak asmu Rabbik, Tabarak asmu Rabbik, Dhul Jalali wal Ikram. In the name of Allah, Bismillah, in the name of Allah, there is barakah, Tabarak. There is barakah in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How much times have we used the word Ar-Rahman? How much times have we used the word Bismillah just before doing anything? How much times have we opened the door to our car, we haven't said Bismillah? How much times have we entered our house and we just walked inside and there's no zikr of Allah? Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Even if there's no one inside of the house, we still say these words. Even if there's no one inside of the house, we still say these words. Who's saying this? How much people are? We're missing barakah inside of the house, but we're not acting upon the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So saying Bismillah, saying salat upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saying Assalamu alaikum at the beginning. This brings about what? Barakah inside of the house. It also takes away shaitan as well. You're saying Assalamu alaikum, takes away shaitan as well outside of the house. So who wants a peaceful house? Everybody wants a peaceful house. You're talking about arguments, you're talking about different things inside of the house that can happen. You're not feeling the sukoon and the contentment inside of the house. What happens? Barakah is missing. So put in the barakah when you enter the door. By saying these words, you put into barakah. You put the barakah inside of the house. So the ma'na of barakah and what is the meaning of barakah? He mentions here regarding an-numa wa ziyada. It's the growth and it's the increase of something. فوق التوقع, يعني beyond your expectations. Beyond your expectations. Sometimes when a person invests in something, right? He puts money into it. And he gets so much return back. He gets so much return back. So this is something which is called barakah. You put something in and you get so much back. Because that ingredient that you put in had barakah inside, you get so much back. This is one of the ma'nas and one of the meanings of barakah. Another one is ibtarakatis sama. Yani from the skies, from the heavens, when the rain keeps coming, and it keeps coming and it's continuous, this is called barakah. So it's continuity of the good things that you're getting is continuous and continuous. This is barakah. You keep having the goodness, you keep having the sukoon, you keep having the peace, you keep having the time frame to complete different things. You achieve more. You're getting more. What you have, what you're putting in less, but you're getting more out of it. Less effort, but more. But this is barakah because we're missing the ingredient of barakah. And something which also remains in its place. The third meaning, something that remains in its place. It doesn't go anywhere. You're not losing out. If you have a bucket of water, there's no hole at the bottom. It stays there and you can still take benefit from it. Just like your bank account, it's there and you can still use it any time you want. And it's not decreasing. It's not decreasing. This is the ma'na of barakah. So these are some of the things to talk about regarding the barakah and how it's missing and the lack of barakah inside of our lives. So how much times should we, or how many actions should we do to try and bring about the barakah inside of our lives? I'll give you some certain things to try and bring about barakah. How to bring barakah inside of our lives. Because sometimes when we make a dua, and this concept is mentioned in the very famous dua, Allahumma hdina fi man hadayt, wa afina fi man afayt, wa tawallana fi man tawallayt, wa fi man tawallayt, then is وَبَارِكْ لَنَا فِي مَا أَعْطَيْتِ. Yani to do with barakah for whatever I already have. Allah has already given me. Doesn't mean that I'm going to get the bucks in now and I'm going to get all the money in. It's whatever Allah has already given you, Allah put barakah in that. Not saying give me more and give me more and give me more. It's whatever I already have, make it sufficient for me. Example, £100 with barakah and £100 without barakah. £100 without barakah will finish like this. Sometimes you want to go shopping and you don't even get all of the items. But £100 with barakah, maybe you don't even spend £100 and everything that you want will you have. Probably extra as well. You probably get extra as well. This is the difference between the ingredient of barakah inside of our lives, inside of money as well. So Allahumma barik lana fima a'tayt. So even when you look at the people of the past, you find that sometimes, example, in the month of Ramadan, especially because it's the month of barakah, and automatically they had doing actions of barakah. You look at the people of the past like Imam Nawawi, rahimahullah, you find his book, Riyadh al-Salihin, his compilation of hadith, inside of almost every single 99% of the masajid around, you find that his book is there, it's been accepted. So Imam Nawawi was a Shafi'i scholar, and he's written many different kitabs and kutubs. So he mentions regarding talking about the fame, and he wants to be famous and so forth. So he said that he never ever wanted to be famous. He never wanted for something. He wanted it for the sake of Allah. He wanted something for the sake of Allah. So he compiled a book. And the amount of books that he compiled, he mentions here that he was only 45 years old when he passed away. He was only 45 years old, but he passed away. He mentions here the amount of books that he wrote, or the amount of the things that he left behind, the legacy that he left behind, in a short amount of time. Imam Shafi rahimahullah, he mentions here, so Imam Nawawi mentions here, he meant so many different books, so many different things, but because of the short amount of time, he's only 45 years old, but yet his legacy still remains 1,000 years later, 700 years later. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah is also the same. He mentioned he was only for 50 to 60 years old, but he mentions here that he was remembered for something. He was remembered for something. He left a whole madhab behind, a whole school of thought behind. The amount of barakah they used to have. They say that a lot of the scholars of the Bible used to read a lot of Qur'an during the month of Ramadan. Sometimes used to finish one whole Qur'an, khatam of the Qur'an in Ramadan. How did they do this? Are they reading 100 miles per hour? They had barakah. They had barakah inside of their time. Because they had barakah, Allah can lengthen the day for them. They can achieve so many things because you have the ingredient of barakah. So what do we do to try and achieve this barakah? Sometimes in marriage, what happens when we say to the person who's just been married, what's the dua for the marriage person? We say, Barakallahu lak, wa baraka alayk, wa jama'a baynakuma fi. Barakah, make there be blessings inside of your marriage. So look at the du'as, all to do with barakah. So these are some of the things that some sources of barakah that a person could do. Because at the moment, we're in the month of Ramadan, and this is Shahrun Mubarak, yani the month of Qur'an, but the month of barakah and the month of blessings. So we've got the blessings already. So how do we continue getting extra blessings and take that after Ramadan as well? Because when a person has double blessings, triple blessings in Ramadan, the amount of things that he can achieve in Ramadan is so much that a person can't, beyond your expectations. Beyond your expectations. Some people are struggling to achieve this and achieve that. But you have barakah, you'll achieve everything that you need to. Everything that you need to. So he mentions that first of all, a person must have good intentions. He doesn't want to do something for the fame. He doesn't want to do something which is done for anybody else. He wants to do it for Allah's sake. Just having the good intentions will be a source of barakah for you. That's number one. General trust in Allah and piety is also obviously staying away from sin will attract barakah as well. But the Quranic verse where he mentions here the tilawat of the Qur'an, he mentions Surah An'am ayat number 92, where it's a fountain of barakah. Reading the Qur'an, you'll get a fountain of barakah coming down upon you. Just at the tilawat of the Qur'an. Yatlu alayhim. So it took the tilawat of the Qur'an, Mubarak, Anzalna Mubarak. meaning it's to do with barakah. If a person reads Qur'an, they will gain barakah in his life. Every day if you read Qur'an, you'll have the ingredient of barakah in your life. This is something which is simple. We do it in Ramadan as well, we can do it outside of Ramadan. But that gains extra barakah. So if you want time, barakah in your time, in your wealth, in your health, then you read the Qur'an, it will bring about something. It will bring about some sort of barakah. I mentioned this before, we're saying Bismillah, any kind of actions, brings about barakah inside of the action. Obviously it's a good action, a halal action, not something which is haram as well. We mentioned regarding eating together. Eating, not individually, but together, even if it's two people. One person, another person, maybe not 5 people, but 2 people at least. Once you do this, barakah will be put into the food that you eat, and now you'll be nourished with barakah. You'll be nourished with barakah. So this is something to also think about as well. Obviously there's the du'as that I mentioned here. Allahumma barik lana fima a'did. Allah grant me barakah as well. Whatever I have, this barakah. Allah grant me this barakah. Another one which I'll finish on is the suhoor time. There's barakah. The time of suhoor, there is barakah. Yani if you look at those students of knowledge who are studying the Qur'an and memorizing the Qur'an, and those who have memorized the Qur'an, you ask them, what's the best time for you to memorize the Qur'an or to memorize anything? They say it's the time before Fajr. Why? Because your mind is very, it's awake, it's alive, it's something which is fresh. So this is the time. Suhoor is barakah in the time of suhoor. So there you learn anything there, you'll stick very fast. So there's lots of barakah. Even when you're looking at business and you're making some money, you do it at the early time in the morning. When a person does it this time, there'll be barakah inside of your wealth as well, in your business. So the early time, waking up early. There's a very famous phrase, you say, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise. Healthy, wealthy and wise. So early to bed, you go to early to bed. This is what the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. Early to rise, you used to wake up early as well. Makes a man healthy, barakah in your health. Wealthy, barakah in your money. And wise, barakah inside of your intelligence and your actions as well, decision making. So these are so many different things that barakah brings about. But we have so much, we do so many actions that take away the barakah. Arguing takes away the barakah. Argument will take away the barakah. The things that we don't say and we forget Allah will take away the barakah. So these are very important things that we're in the month of barakah, in the month of blessing, a blessed month. So use all of those actions, take it outside of the month as well, but use those actions now, make it a habit, and then we'll take it outside of Ramadan as well. So these are certain actions, there's so many different ones. Halal income, following the sunnah, istikhara, shukr, charity, there's marriage, there's salah, there's asking for Allah's forgiveness, all sources of barakah. So this is something that we should try and do and try to be aware of as well. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us a blessed month, and such a month where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us barakah in our health, in our wealth, in our time, in our businesses, in our money, in our decision making, everything that we do. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for barakah and forgiveness and guidance. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.